Let me take you for a ride. Every night, I like to drive. Alright, alright. Let's go crazy, my baby, dancing with the lights. Together we could chase the sun tonight. Take you for a ride. Ooh. Alright, alright. take you for a ride. Ooh, ride. Oh, ride.
All these brothers, my guys, know that they fly, know that they ride or die. I keep boys by my side, CJ Ike, now I gotta roll with ice. All these brothers, my guys, know that they fly, know that they ride or die. I keep boys by my side, CJ Ike, now I gotta roll with ice. Ride or die, 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 ride or die. All these brothers, my guys, know that they fly, know that they ride or die. I keep boys by my side, CJ Ike. Now I gotta ride or die. Guys, know that they fly, know that they ride or die. I keep waiting on my side, CJ Ike, now I gotta roll with ice. These brothers, my guys, know that they fly, know that they ride or die. I keep waiting on my side, CJ Ike, now I gotta roll with now I gotta roll with ice. Ride or die, 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 ride or die. Fly, know that they ride or die. Know that they fly, know that they ride or die. I keep waiting by my side, CJ Ike, never gotta roll with ice. Oh, these brothers, my guys, know that they fly, know that they ride or die. I keep waiting by my side, CJ Ike, never gotta roll with ice. Ride or die, 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 ride or die. Oh, these brothers, my guys, know that they fly, know that they ride or die. I keep waiting by my side, CJ Ike, never gotta ride or die. Ride or die, ride or die, ride or die. I never gonna roll with ice. Ride or die, ride or die, ride or die. Fly, know that the ride or die.
If we are one grain of sand in the middle of the ocean, can you try to understand how a touch can cause explosions? Too great to be landed. Too great to
I'm like choppers, better cook those risks, but I'm up 3 5 starters. I'm the one out of a million more reach, so all the kind of feeling that I won't see now. What? Never the time. Look at my eyes, I'm on the rocks, rise. But I'm up now, we all too much to fall. Yeah, anyone that's coming up, I left them all. Damn, let's risk them all. I got guts, got a lot, I gotta wish it off. Got no feelings, we just flowing. Out the ocean, a couple million now. I'm causing a commotion. I've been coasting, hear my name.
As we fly above the stars, that light won't scare us falling. So fast. Too great to be landed. Too great to be landed.
Stoppers, fly by them like choppers, better cook those risks, but I'm up 3 5 starters. I'm the one out of a million more reach, so all the kind of feeling that I won't see now. What? Never the time. Look at my eyes, I'm on the rocks, rise.
Hey, hello everybody, and welcome back. Long time no see for us here at VHEL Campville. I know you guys have been in the wait. You have had quite the wait, but we are finally back. The season is finally back, and of course, the streams are finally back. And with that being said, of course, it's Monday. So, for those of you that have tuned in before, you know what day it is. But for those of you that have not, it is officially Fortnite Build 2 Duos, and we are excited to see how things go. We have a handful of teams, we have a handful of divisions, and we are very excited here at VHEL Campville, myself included. But let me introduce you to some of these magnificent teams that we will get to watch today. So our primary team, this will be the team we watch the most, the team we ideally focus on. We'll bounce around a little bit here and there, check in on the other teams, but this is the team that we will be watching the most until they die, and that is the GOATs. That is a Division 1 team. Sorry, I didn't mean to punch you there. That is made up of VHCH17, aka Parker, and Solar Rotten, aka Matthew. This is a newer team to Div 1. This is a team that's very good, that's looking to make some waves early on. I was able to talk to these guys quite a bit before their match today. They're a little nervous, but they're really looking to have some solid drops and continue to get better every single week. So we are very excited to see how those guys do. Our secondary team, this is a team we'll be switching to a little bit while the first team is still alive, tuning in, seeing how they're doing. And that team is the Chefs, as another Division 1 team. And that team is composed up of Chef Jack, aka Chef Jack, and Zarek, aka Z Fight. This is a team that has a lot of offensive firepower. This is a team that is very aggressive, that has the aim, the mechanics, the decision making to back it all up. This is the kind of team that, even though they're in Div 1, are gonna have the potential to have crazy drops, crazy high kill counts. So we are very excited to see what this team can do this season. Obviously, Zarek, I like to call him the laser beam. Chef Jack, just insanely solid as well. High hopes for this team all around the arena. And finally, but not least, is our third or tertiary team. Another Division 1 team, and this team is Guff. This team is composed up of Shammy, aka Lachlan, and LMC Channel, aka Logan. This is a team that is going to do very well. We've seen them, both of these players, play in Division 1 before. Lachlan we've seen quite a bit. Logan not as much, but very excited to see how this team can do. Was able to talk to these guys a little bit, not a bunch, before the drop, and they were excited. They had a really good team dynamic going on. This is a team that I think play styles are going to complement each other quite a lot. It'll be really interesting to see what kind of season that these guys can have. But ladies and gentlemen, we are just waiting for the drops to get started here. So just hang in with me for a couple more minutes. It is so good to have you guys back. It is so good to be back up here in front of the camera. I hope you guys missed me. I obviously missed being up here, and it feels phenomenal. A lot of these teams are getting last minute, last second coaching, last minute comms between teammates, last minute adjustments before we get started. And ladies and gentlemen, Fortnite has officially dropped, so let's tune in and see what we can do. All right, so again, that is currently watching the GOATs, team composed up of Parker and Matthew. Obviously, you guys will see their in-game names on screen, but I'm going to refer to them by their real names, just for all you lovely parents at home that happen to be tuning in. And it looks like here we have a little bit of a non-POI drop spot. That they're gonna be going. Nothing crazy as of yet, and obviously all of the teams that we're going to be watching, sorry for that voice track, all of the teams that we're going to be watching tonight are in this Division 1 drop, so we might even see a little arena rivalry start to build. A lot of these guys are friends with each other, but a lot of them do have some of that rivalry, so we will have to see how things go. Have to see if we get to see any Valhalla and Camp Hill action as they battle it out, but let's not jinx it. Someone knock on wood. There's none around here. I can't do it. Let's hope we have some good clean drops as the GOATs slowly make their way to the ground. We're finding just some quick looting up. Obviously, early game in Fortnite, and that is a key priority for you to do. We are currently watching Parker's perspective. Of course, we'll switch to Matthew's here and there. But I was able to overhear Parker and Coach Kyle talking a little bit. I think that this is a drop spot that Parker had actually already idealized and hypothesized with his teammate about the potential of it. So it'll be really interesting to see where this kind of takes them, how much loot we're going to get to see. Obviously, we see that they're a little stressed out. And it looks like actually Div 1 is having a little bit of an issue. Not totally sure what those issues were. And obviously we apologize for that. Let me take a quick look. See if I can't get you guys a better explanation on what was going on. There was an announcement made. Looks like just some stream potential issues or some spectator issues. So new code already is up, so hopefully we will just be a couple minutes away from that. And I have to apologize. You guys know I apologize quite a bit up here on stream, but obviously there's nothing I can do about it. It's a little out of our control, so we will just wait for them to get in this new code, and hopefully the turnaround time for this drop will be pretty fast. We won't have too much of me, you guys looking at my face as I try and fill some time here. And I'm sure you guys just heard the drop code. So again, it is already up. Players should be getting into it. Should go pretty quickly here. And it looks like the goats are already ready to go. Just waiting for the rest of this drop to populate. And yes, I can confirm that it is filling up very quickly. So again, hopefully it will not be out for long, as we got robbed. We got robbed, ladies and gentlemen. There's no better way to say it. We were so close, and unfortunately got stolen, got robbed. So they stole an absolute amazing game from us. And you know, I think the thing that's kind of annoying about those kinds of issues is, even though it's early on in the game, and you know, I know it has issues and things have to be sorted out properly, but is that kills momentum. You know, a lot of these teams, you know, not only does it give teams potentially that played a little risky a second chance and maybe not play risky, but it also kind of kills momentum, kind of kills your feng shui of the drop one and getting into it and starting to lock in, and then everything gets reset, and now you have to reset everything. You know, you gotta reset materials, maybe you don't get as many chests as you did before. You know, these are all factors now that not only our teams, but every team is gonna have to be aware of, because of the technical issues from the VHEL. Obviously, it's a little unfortunate, but we continue to roll here. You guys at home, all the parents hopefully watching, know that I think our arena motto or keyword or whatever you want to say is probably adaptability. A lot of our kids adapt a lot and are very good at that. So I have a feeling that we'll do all right. We'll bounce back pretty quickly, but we will have to see once drop gets started here, and we are very close. Should be starting in just another minute or two. And to explain a little bit about the season for you guys, so we have 9, I think a 9-week season. I'm pretty sure we have a 9-week season. That is 7 weeks of league play or traditional play or weekly competition or whatever you want to call it. I'm going to refer to it as league play. So about 7 weeks of league play. It might be a little more, might be a little less, it might be 8, might be 6. It's typically about 7 for these longer seasons. And then we have 2 to 3 weeks of playoffs. Typically for Fortnite it's 2. So typically that equals 9 weeks of play. So assuming that all of our lovely teams make playoffs, which fingers crossed or whatever, that will happen, and we will have lots of playoff action for you guys. Realistically, if you've been watching for a little while, you know our teams, especially our Fortnite teams, are very consistent with making playoffs, and just our teams in general are very consistent making playoffs. So I would suspect we're at least gonna have some teams make playoffs, and that you guys will still have some playoff Fortnite build duos action. Man, that's a mouthful now, but that is neither here nor there. That is weeks and weeks down the road. It is only week 1 of the regular season. So even if we have some bad performances, we see something that's not ideal, these guys have lots of time to come back, turn it around, and continue to improve. That is something that when I was able to talk to the GOATs, or Matthew and Parker, about, that they absolutely harped on. We talked about them not only having a good goal for this week, but making sure that they are trying to improve week in and week out, and continue to better on that goal that they have. So realistically, I think that this team specifically is a team that has a lot of potential. Again, I know the nerves is hitting them a little bit. I expect to see some of the nerves come out in this drop 1. Obviously, we didn't get to see much of the initial drop 1, but I will suspect we will see some of it. I suspect realistically probably next week is when we'll really start to see them kind of settle in and start to hear about them playing a little bit more consistently. So we will have to wait and see for the future to see how those things go. We are very close. Should just be starting any minute now, I would presume. 5 minutes into queue here, so I would assume maybe about 7:45 things should get started. Obviously, I can neither confirm nor deny that. That is just my pure guessing. But we have quite a few players in the lobby, so I would suspect it will be starting very soon. And one of the other things that I know I kind of mentioned it briefly, but I didn't mention it very much, is that our especially our Division 1 teams, these are teams that have been in Division 1 for a while. These are players that have been Division 1 for a while, so they know what it's like to play against each other. Some of them know what it's like to play with each other. A team that we're not watching this week, we potentially will watch either next week or a later week. Our final Division 1 team, have been teammates with some of the players on the 3 Division 1 teams that we're seeing today. So it's really interesting to see not only how different teammates work together and those kinds of things, but also how former teammates can battle against each other, and how we see that adaptability, and that, those are some of the moments where we really start to get to see some of those more advanced level plays of predictions and the micro decisions, really starting to matter a lot more in a game like Fortnite. And again, we are so close. We have to be close. Don't think that there was a rough time schedule, so we are still currently waiting, but should just be going any minute here now. And of course, you guys know it's not the Holland Camp Hill stream without a bunch of issues. This one, luckily, is on us, so nothing I can do about it. Nothing anybody here can do about it. I appreciate you guys hanging in there, bearing with me. And again, I apologize for the inconvenience. This is probably an ideal time to use the restroom, maybe grab a little drink, maybe eat some food. It's about 8 o'clock. I know typically when I'm not here, this is my ideal dinner time. So hopefully you guys are chowing down on good din. I'm pretty hungry right now as I speak. So definitely looking forward to some chowing down when I get home. But enough about food, because it's just gonna make me more hungry. Let's get back to the Fortnite. We are so very close. It looks like we might be. Nope. Got me. I was wrong. I thought we were going to be starting, but just a little visual bug that I was getting on my screen. So nothing quite yet. And it looks like, here we go. We have officially started. We are back in Division 1 Drop 1 with the GOATs kicking us off. Alrighty, and it looks like here we are seeing the exact same drop spot from the goats, which doesn't really surprise me. Again, this is something that they talked about specifically with Coach Kyle before the drop. So Parker knew that this was going to be a solid spot. He talked it over with Matthew. These guys agreed. They're looking forward to this drop spot. And I know, if I know anything about Parker, he is so analytical about the game. He knows how many chests. He knows where they're going to run to once they land. He has broken this spot down so specifically. So these guys, even though it's not a POI, it's not named or anything, these guys are going to find a good amount of loot, are going to be well versed as they get into this mid game. Looks like here they landing in a nice little village. A nice that's just a nice village. I really blind right there. Not a lot of loot so far. And again, this is exactly what I talked about with killing some of that momentum. We saw, now obviously it looks like Matthew has quite a full loadout, but we saw Parker have a full loadout last drop, and now he's got 2 guns. So he's gonna have to make an adjustment. He's gonna have to be aware that he probably does not have the loadout that he would like to have, and they're gonna have to be careful taking some of these early game fights here until they can kind of get loaded up. Luckily, Parker finds a shotgun there, so hopefully that'll hold him over a little bit. And it looks like this point, these guys are just going to do a little bit of farming as they continue to loot a little bit, try and get up some mats. We see Parker, I don't even know how, but already has 361 bricks, so he is looking very good on that front. It looks like Matthew is farming some wood right now. Obviously, lots of trees in this area, so he's going to get as much of that as he can. Parker here is going to take his pick of the guns that he has and start to drop ones that he doesn't want. And while these guys farm up, we're going to take a quick switch over to one of our other teams. Let's tune into the Chefs. Alrighty. Currently watching Zarek's perspective on this team. Again, this team is composed of Zarek and Chef Jack. As we see Chef Jack mark an enemy, we could see an early engagement here from them. I might have tuned in at the perfect time. Will depend if Chef Jack and Zarek decide to take this engagement. Zarek marks another. They see him rotating around here. No shots fired quite yet. We do see some shots on the visual audio indicator. Potentially some other team fighting going on around. And it looks like Zarek and Jack are just going to get out, or at least gain some distance between themselves and those teams up on that mountain. Oh, actually, they're getting dropped in. And Zarek finds a good couple shots, and he finds a knock. Finds a good 94 damage on that player, too. Chef Jack is going to clean up the kill. Can they find the kill in the air? And they do. That's why we call him the laser beam, because he doesn't miss. And what a way for this duo to start week 1. We said they were going to be aggressive. We said this was a duo that was going to rack up the kills and make a name for themselves in this division. And we are already seeing that early on in drop number 1. Currently seeing both of these guys getting up a bunch of metal. Something we know about Zarek, we haven't seen Chev Jack as much recently, some of these past seasons, but we have watched quite a bit of Zarek. You guys know I'm a little biased. I love watching Zarek. He's just a fun player to watch. But Zarek's micro decisions are very good when it comes to getting materials, being aware of his opponents, being aware of his loadout, his teammate. All of that is very good. Zarek is someone that plays the game a lot, spends a lot of time analyzing the game, analyzing how he himself plays. Is a very good player that realistically probably could go far if he wanted to, if that's what he decides to do after his time with us here at Valhalla and Camp Hill. And while these guys continue to farm, we're going to tune in to our third team of the day, and that is Guff. This team is composed of LMC Channel and Shammy. That is Logan and Lachlan. Currently watching Logan's perspective. This is a team that hasn't seen any combat yet. Actually, it looks like they might have. And it looks like these guys are going to try and get some high ground. Something we know about seeing these players on different teams before is that Logan is such a good IGL. He's so good at keeping track of his teammates, of himself, being aware of the map. But Lachlan is actually a very aggressive player. Sometimes a little too aggressive. Sometimes that's his downfall. Sometimes it works out for him. He catches teams off guard. So it'll be really interesting to see how this team kind of balances each other out and see if they can finally combine to get some wins here. I know that solid performances is something that Lachlan has been hunting for quite a while. Logan has done very well in his previous duos. So hoping to see some of that transition into this duo. So it looks like here they are going to continue to loot up a little bit. Lachlan going to mark a gun for Logan. Decides that he doesn't want it. Just going to leave it float in the air. And we're seeing it a little bit already. And this is something that both of these guys are going to have to be aware of. We're seeing a lot of the time Lachlan leading the charge, which is realistically how this team should probably be playing, in my opinion. But the part that they're going to have to be aware of is to make sure that they don't get too separated. We've seen this with Lachlan before, where he kind of gets away from his teammates, and then things start to get a little hectic, especially in the later game. Now, again, I'm hoping that Logan can kind of combat that with his comms, with his IGLing, but there's definitely a thing that we are already seeing that these guys are going to have to be aware of as they continue to go into this drop. We're seeing kills go off in the feed. Nobody that we are watching and or know of. So, and actually here, looks like we might have some combat going on. Maybe I stand corrected. Maybe they're just shooting at a build. It looks like that's what it was. So we're going to tune back into our primary team and see how the goats are doing. And it looks like here we are looking at some careful play. Some would call it camping. But obviously in Fortnite, it is a valid strategy. And to be honest, does not surprise me as much from this team specifically. Obviously, like I said earlier on while we were delayed and everything, this was a team that was very nervous about this drop, very nervous about being in Division 1. So it will be interesting to see how these guys continue to play. We're going to watch them rotate into zone here and see what they do. We do see some shots on the visual audio indicator. See if these guys can potentially maybe find a third party, or just going to have to get out. So Coach Kyle is going to join their channel and give them some in-game coaching advice as these guys try to push into circle here. And something that Coach Kyle made these guys aware of, and we're kind of seeing it live, is the lack of cover in between POIs. And we're really seeing it here. Just not a lot of cover. There's some couple trees, obviously a couple rocks, and then some elevation changes, but that's about it. We're not seeing little buildings or, pretty much anything else. So, if a team gets called out, they're going to have to use some mats. They're going to have to try and cover themselves. It looks like the goats are going to be able to make their way to the circle carefree. And actually, as I speak about it, they are going to get pushed. We do find a couple shots there. And it looks like Matthew decides to push in. Parker's still a little behind. He's going to go for height here. Both of them are on height. Parker's going to try and hold down, but gets absolutely lasered. Luckily able to build himself in. Buys himself a little bit of time. We're going to turn into Matthew's perspective as he's still actively in the combat, as he's in a box right now. Maybe also trying to wait for Parker to heal up. Trying to close that gap a little bit. It looks like Parker is back to as much health as he can be. Actually, no. Well, at least that they have time for right now. And these guys are getting sprayed down. I don't know if that's a minigun or what, but man, that gun is tearing through these builds, and it looks like they're going to launch pad out. Matthew does get shot out of the air a couple times. He's going to have to be careful here. He's taking a lot of unnecessary damage. And he is able to hit ground and only take shield. Doesn't get cracked to white. And now it looks like they might double launch pad. No, it looks like they're going to wait here, maybe heal Parker the rest of the way up before they decide to go. And now they do have height, so they could sit at the top of this mountain for a little bit, see if that team tries to push them, use the height to their advantage. Obviously, that really depends on how these guys want to play. Talking to them a little bit beforehand, they said they were going to be playing a much passiver game than some of our other teams, so nothing surprising so far. These guys are sticking to a strategy, and they're executing it, so...
Division 2! Division 2, you have a new drop code! VHEL D2.
Looks like Division 2 has got their secondary drop code again. Of course, we are not watching them, so we will kind of ignore that little piece of info as these guys are going to break their builds here. And it looks like they're going to take the launch pad into circle, potentially try and go from mountain to mountain. But need to make sure they don't take any damage here as they're flying along. We see a lot of shots on the visual audio indicator going on. None finding the GO team. And it looks like Guff team is finding a couple kills as Lachlan does find a kill. Those guys are in combat. And it looks like here the goats might be in combat again as someone is at the peak of this mountain taking some shots down on them. Parker making a call to get out here. Matthew does take a rogue shot or two in the back as he's trying to slide down. Gonna take a little bit of fall damage there. Trying and getting themselves in a good position here. They're just unable to because they don't have height. Because the other team is just able to dominate this mountain. looks like these guys are going to hang out in the bush a little bit, and while they do, we're going to tune back in to the chefs. Alrighty, and we are back with the chefs. Sorry about that, ladies and gentlemen. A little bit of some behind the scenes issues, but that's okay. As actually, it might have been the chefs who were the ones putting pressure on the goats. We see a little bit of that cold-bloodedness from the VHEL and Campbell teams. Obviously, all of these drops want to win. 37 players left, 35 not counting the chefs. No, I believe all 3 of our teams are still alive right now. Currently watching Zarek's perspective. He's taking a little bit of damage here. These guys are going to try and find their way into circle. Maybe a little bit of a disagreement, but they are going to land in this bamboo field maze looking thing. I'm not really sure what to call this. These guys are going to use the little bit of time they have to get themselves back up to 200. And it looks like the 4th of the VHEL and Camp Hill teams here has just been knocked out. Unfortunately, we are not watching them, but that team is composed up of Miko and Brady, and it looks like they were just eliminated from this Division 1 drop. Oh, and just like that, Team Guff is out as well, but it looks like the chefs could find another couple kills. Zarek takes a little bit of damage. Is able to just keep some builds in front of him, though. He's going to try and back up to get with his teammate here. Going to heal up himself and Chef Jack. These guys are, again, just going to rotate out. Decided that's not an engagement that they want. Actually going to try and rotate into circle here. I think we saw a team kind of right in front of them. They decide to try and loot a little bit here. I don't know what these perk cards are, so you guys will have to excuse me on that lack of information I have for you. Is Eric eyeing someone down? He marks him a couple times. He does take a couple shots, but gets shot himself. Has to be aware. Both of these teams now could potentially crash in on the chefs. These guys could find themselves in a middle of a pinch. Chef Jack wants to go fishing. And Storm is here. The goats are still alive as well. These guys are somewhere still in this drop. This is where resources start to get low. Ideally, the chefs find a kill here to be able to replenish some of their support items and their mats. Again, that gun, I assume it's the minigun, just absolutely shreds through these bills. Zarek takes some damage, but he does find a couple shots of his own. I believe that was a break. We're going to switch to Chef Jack's perspective here, as he's a little bit more in the combat, as he does find a knock. And he does take a lot of damage, but he can't find the second. We're going to go right back to Zarek, as he's going to try and support his teammate from a little bit of afar, but has to be aware as he has a third team shooting at them. Zarek closes the distance between him and Chef Jack, And he's going to go for the res here. And he is able to get it. There's a lot of people left. 28 people left in total. 26 not counting the chefs. There's a lot of people left for these little circles. Chef Jack tries to find some shots. Doesn't find anybody. Sees someone to his left. Finds a complete laser beam as he takes out Riva. We might have to call this laser beam 1 and 2. And this is about a live perspective of how different these teams that are still alive are. We are seeing a very aggressive, the Chefs team, and a very passive, the Goats team. Both teams are still alive. We'll have to see which play style works out better in this situation. Some footsteps on the visual audio indicator for Chef Jack here. Has to be aware of those, but he's seeing a lot of action go on behind them as well. Tries to find a couple shots. He does. Finds a couple of other shots. They decide not to peek quite yet. He finds a break there on the shields. Gonna try and rotate there. Close the gap between themselves and the circle. But they have a long way to go. And a lot of people to try and go through. Zarek finding a couple shots. Chef Jack also now starting to shoot his gun. As they're trying to not get swallowed up by this build. Chef Jack tries to find a shotgun shot, but he can't find it. They're getting a little left behind, but he's able to start to close that gap as they collapse on another team. So many teams in this one little area. A big shotgun shot there. And actually, that was the Chefs taking out the Goats. Zarek still live in combat. Chef Jack finally closed the gap to help him. Can they find the Elim? They didn't find it quite yet. Zarek is able to find one though. So much action. So much I can't even commentate all of it. Still 14 teams left. As Chef Jack runs right into a big shotgun shot. Chef Jack absolutely leading the charge. Zarek doing his best to try to keep up with him. So many people just climbing this mountain. Such a long way to go to circle here. Chef Jack turns around, finds a lot of damage on one. We're seeing Zarek and Chef Jack doing a great job at being with each other. These guys never really leaving each other's side. Even if they're going a little bit of their own directions, doing their best to try and stay near each other. Although Zarek now caught in Storm, has to heal up. Jack takes a big shotgun shot there as he's at 33 health. Can't afford to take damage from the Storm, but it looks like he's going to have to. Can he get out of it in time? He's going to use some heals, but I don't think it's enough. Is he going to be able to find anything to keep him alive? He's going to fall down the Storm, and now it's all up to Zarek. But can Zarek get out of it in time? No, he can't. And they are going to fall to Storm with the 6th place finish. Wow, what drop from them. And what a drop from all of these Division 1 teams as they all played so well. Obviously, we have the Goats and the Chefs both, I believe, finished top 10, I would say. I'm not exactly sure on where the Goats finished, but we saw the Chefs take out the Goats. So we knew that they were in the mess there towards the end. And then obviously we have Guff performed very well as well. So very solid drops from this week 1. And just got the update. The Goats finished 13th, so just outside the top of that top 10. No, it's a little bit lower than where they wanted to be, a little bit lower than what their goal was, but 13th, so very close. This gives them a lot of room to improve, not only this week, but also as we continue to get into the season a little bit more. And for this Goats team, this is, again, really their first experience in a Division One drop, in Division One anything. And Parker and Matthew, huge shout out to those guys as they were able to clinch a 13th place finish. Congratulations to those guys. Hopefully that takes some pressure off them. Hopefully nerves have gone down a little bit. These guys are learning, these guys are aware of the competition, the pressure of all of it going on. And now they know what they need to do to perform and hang in with these teams. But with that being said, no discredit to our other teams. Obviously, Chef Jack and Zarek finishing 6th place. A phenomenal way to start this season. This is only dropped week one. They are still probably at least another 6 weeks to go. And numerous drops. And these guys have shown that they are a force to be reckoned with, that they are going to hang in there, that these guys are not going to mess around. And finally, we have Guff. These guys, even though they fell a little bit earlier than our other two teams, still hung in there. Still probably, I would say, top 20-ish finish. So some room to improve, of course. There's always room to improve, but those guys played very well as well. We saw combat they took was very well. These guys, I think, just have to worry about some of the team chemistry stuff, making sure they're on the same page before they can really start to climb and show off their skills. We are just going to wait for this next drop code to be live. We have no updates on it yet, so obviously as we get those, you guys will either, one, hear about it, or two, just be made aware of the announcement from myself. But really cannot complain about the performance of any of these teams. And that you guys know that because of the way because of the way we structure things around here, we are going to go back, start this drop 2 with the GOATs. Again, that is Parker and Matthew. Finished 13th last drop. Hopefully they can improve a little bit this drop. I know their goal was top 10. Let's see if they can do it. And as you guys may have heard, Division 1 drop 2 code is live. So as these guys get queued up, get ready to go, get the lobby all set up, we will just a few minutes away from lovely Fortnite, more duo builds. For those of you that may or may not be aware, this is a little bit of a special season for Fortnite as we are kicking off no builds as well. So Tuesdays we will have no builds competition, I believe. I'm not totally sure if that's going to be streamed yet. Obviously, it's something that we are still working out. But no builds will be played as well. And then the rest of the days will obviously be the same. Wednesday, we're still trying to work on a solution for you guys. You guys can get some content going on. Obviously, you guys know that I am the Rocket League coach. At least I hope not. If not, well, hello everybody. Maybe I should have started the stream with that. But I am the Rocket League coach. So on Wednesdays, I am coaching. I cannot be up here casting. But we also have Marvel Rivals going on. So just trying to see if we can find someone to be able to come in here and cast one, if not either of those games for you guys. And then, of course, Thursday, you guys already know, it's the big day. It's Valorant. I love Valorant. We all love Valorant here. I guess maybe this is an announcement that I should or should not make. Maybe I should wait for Valorant night, but I'm going to make it right now. For all of you lovely parents at home, whether you are a Fortnite parent or a Valorant parent or whatever, Coach Ben is no longer our Valorant coach. He has accepted another position, and still very involved with the community and the students and all of those kinds of things. But we will have a little bit of a new face up here on Thursdays when it comes to our Valorant interviews. So be expected for that. Don't get caught off guard. Be ready to go. But I will still be the primary caster, and of course, I love Valorant, so Very excited to see how those guys do this season, not only because of their new coach, but also because I'd love to see them do well. I'd love to see them secure a banner before some of them kind of start to rotate out here. We are just a few minutes away. We see this lobby is filled pretty quickly. We suspect that this drop is probably going to go a little after 8:30. Obviously, it depends on how all of our duos do and blah blah blah. But of course, we are very high hopes that this will go past 8:30 and we will see some very good drops. So of course we're excited. And some of these other drops are, I believe, currently just about finishing up or have already finished up, or it's hard to say. As we obviously they didn't have as big a delay as our Division 1 drops, so Div 2 and Div 3 were able to get going pretty quick. So haven't really had any updates from those. You guys also know that we like to do team interviews up here after the drops. I don't know if we're going to have any of those tonight. Fortnite's a little bit harder, but we will hopefully at least get Coach Kyle to come up here for a couple minutes and talk to you guys about how the drops went from his perspective and coaching and what we saw good and bad and all of those kinds of things. But we have to be very close. We do 73 players in the queue. We have to be very close to a full drop here. We are almost ready to go. I'm ready to go. I hope you guys are ready to go. Man, I hope that it's not as hectic as it was last time. That's so much going on. It was hard for me to watch, let alone talk about all of it. So hopefully you guys will forgive me for my rustiness. Obviously, I'm trying to take some of the rust off as we get back into the swing of streaming every single night and get back into the swing of casting for you guys. And of course, Coach Kyle and Coach Connor doing a little bit of directing, a little bit of encouraging, making sure that these guys are obviously doing their best in the drops that they can, but also trying to encourage and keep the mentals high for some of the other kids and make sure that these guys are doing well. So that way that they are ready to go. Because at the end of the day, competition is tough. You know, there's no other way to put it. And obviously, it all depends with the individual. Some of you guys know, if you're Rocket League students or have seen me in here coaching or anything, I'm a very competitive coach, and obviously I put a lot of that on the kids. Even some of my students or some of the players that aren't my students are also very competitive. So wins, losses, doing well, hitting goals, those kinds of things, it means a lot. What we do means a lot to a lot of these kids, and it's obviously we want the best for them. Obviously we push them to do their best, but I would be lying if I said that it is rainbows and butterflies every single time. It's not pretty. It's a grind. At the end of the day, it is competition. At the end of the day, it is as traditional as, you know, playing soccer or baseball or football or any sport you want to name that has competition. It is on the same level, and for these kids specifically, it is on the same level. So we can encourage, we do our best. These guys are so close to their drop. Obviously, we want to see them do well, and we all have high expectations, especially of these teams this season, because man, all of these teams look phenomenal. All the teams that we're getting to watch up here. This is only week 1. I hope you guys are excited to continue to see more Fortnite, because I'm excited. I mean, because what a way to kick off a week 1. A 13th, a 6th place, and then probably another top 20, all in Division 1 with a packed lobby. That's insane. That's insane for drop 1. And ladies and gentlemen, just as I close my train of thought here, we are officially dropping. So let's tune back in for some more Fortnite. And again, currently starting out with the GOATs. That is Parker and Matthew. Alrighty. And you know what they say, my go-to saying up here, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. And for the GOATs, this drop spot was not broke, so they're not going to fix it. Couple duos potentially landing nearby at the resistance base, POI. A lot of action going on early. This is something that the GOATs are going to have to be aware of as they potentially try and rotate out of their little village that they drop to here. There's a lot of kills already going on in the kill feed. And a couple more kills popping off. And I will say that the beauty about this drop spot is exactly the beauty and the play style that we see here from Parker and Matthew. These guys very planned, very tactical, very strategic about everything that they do. And we are going to see that be a factor, not only this drop, not only this week, but every single time we get to tune in and we get to watch these guys play. We're going to see very strategic, very tactical gameplay that they are trying to perfect, trying to maximize their results. So you see these guys start to farm up some materials. Want to make sure. We see Parker already at max brick, trying to get to max wood as well. We assume Matthew's going to be close, trying to loot up a little bit as they can as well. But as these guys continue to loot, continue to farm, we're going to tune in very quickly to the chefs and see how they are doing early in this drop too. We tune into the chefs. Actually, I think we might have tuned away a little bit of troublesome time. I believe the GOATs were actually seeing some combat, as it looks like they were. So we're gonna go right back. We're gonna go right back to the GOATs as those guys are in combat. What we do, but the GOATs in combat, we had to see how they're doing. Currently watching Parker's perspective. These guys are just a box or two away. And this is not a scenario that they would like to find themselves in. Loot, everything not ideal about this drop. These guys are gonna have to be careful here. This is where some of this tactical gameplay really starts to kick in. Especially when you're probably not prepared for these kinds of fights, but you have to do your best to take them here. And they are able to find a knock on one. That's a massive kill for them. And now Parker tries to find the second, but can't. And he is going to go down. Matthew, though, still up. Has a lot to do by himself, but it is just a 1v1. Tries to find a shot. Can't find the shotgun shot. He's going to control the build here. Going to back up. Going to buy himself a little bit of space. Going to do his best here to control his surroundings. Tries to find a shotgun shot. We see a little bit of lag. Tries to find another shotgun shot. Can't find anybody. And he gets boxed into, and unfortunately for the GOATs, that is a heartbreaking drop too. And we are going to go back to the chefs. Wow. Just... that's unfortunately one of those that's just hard to watch. Just pretty unlucky. Those guys were, I don't want to say they weren't prepared, but they were called out a little bit. They just got unlucky. At the end of the day, I think they just got a little unlucky. Luckily, it was only week 1. No drop defines you. These guys have a lot of potential. The GOATs have a lot of potential. Hopefully are able to bounce back from this drop 2, kind of ride the high of their first drop this week, and next week come in ready to go. Nerves eased a little bit and are able to put up a bit of a fight that they know that they can. And obviously a little heartbreaking, very discouraging for these guys, but got to keep their heads held high. They got to do what they can do to put this bad draw behind them, focus on next week, continue to get better at the game. It's just the harsh truth. But with all of that being said, we continue to watch the chefs here. Currently watching Zarek's perspective, as him and Chef Jack are starting to split up a little bit. It's something they have to be aware of. Chef Jack looks like he's just going to farm up some mats and do his best to loot here as Zarek starts to close that space. Looks like here we are going to see a little bit of a launch pad to reposition themselves, help close some of that distance pretty quickly. And wow, a lot of action going on in kill feed. I don't know what's going on, but numerous kills that we just witnessed there. Trying to be aware of the build here. And Chef Jack gonna take a couple shots just to see if there's anybody in there. It doesn't look like it quite yet. And we are going to check in on our third team of this Division 1 drop to Guff. Currently watching Logan's perspective here. I think these guys are pretty much in the middle of the circle here, so just kind of hang out, gonna survey the area. These guys don't have to move. It looks like these guys already have a little bit of a rotation plan sorted out here as well. Well, we do have some shots on the visual audio indicator, and it looks like here the chefs are in combat. We're going to switch back to them very quickly. As we saw on the kill feed, Zarek was able to find a kill. Don't know if that was just a solo that they found or what was the case on that. And it looks like here these guys, Chef Jack gonna pick up a minigun. Not technically called a minigun, but that's totally what it is. It's a minigun. We're gonna call it a minigun. Yeah, so many kills popping off in this kill feed. None of them from the chefs or Guff. And it looks like here the chefs are just going to hold down this spot for now. No reason to push. No reason to push out. Obviously, if they're in circle, they can just kind of hunker down, keep themselves ready to go in case they find a team tries to rotate to them. Actually, these guys are pretty much in the middle of circle, so they are definitely in a good spot here. And then we see a ping on the enemy there from Chef Jack. Actually, insider info, I actually think that's Team Guff, potentially on the top of that mountain. Don't know for sure. It looks like the mountain that they were sitting on when we tuned into them very briefly, so we could see some action going on. And it looks like these guys are actually getting pushed by another team. Chef Jack and Zarek being very patient. Not wanting to take any shots. Don't really need to give away their position here, as no one's decided to push them yet, so. Couple shots on the video audio indicator. Chef Jack takes a couple shots. Doesn't find anybody. And it looks like here we might start to see a push. Chef Jack's going to lead the charge. Zarek's right behind him. And we're going to see Chef Jack absolutely destroy those builds with the minigun. And it looks like here could see some Vol on Camp Hill, on some Valhalla on Camp Hill action here, because we do have confirmation that that was Team Guff. So depending on how these teams play this, the chefs could push and find a kill here, or Guff might be able to rotate out and get away. Chef Jack analyzing builds here. This guy's just deciding to wait here. And actually, we see one of our other teams, Brady, is going to get knocked here. We're actually going to tune back into Team Guff and see if we can't get some information on how those guys are doing this drop. Sorry, a little delayed on my swap there. I apologize. Saw a little behind the scenes action going on, but that's okay. We see Team Guff sitting on the peak of another mountain. And it looks like the team of Brady and Nico, that would be Team Famous People, is eliminated from this drop too. So we have, of the teams left in the arena, we have the Chefs, Guff, and Famous People. Famous People no longer alive in this drop. We did not watch them at all tonight, just in case anybody was confusing that team. But the Chefs and Team Guff both still alive in this drop. We're fighting each other a few moments ago. Guff was able to get out, rotate, get in a different position. Still 24 people left in total, 22 not counting Team Guff. And these guys here don't get a great circle pull, but they are on a launch pad. We could potentially see a huge launch pad come out here from Team Guff. We're going to see them try and destroy their builds here so they can use the launch pad to its full potential. And off they go. Team Guff trying to rotate, trying to get into the circle. These guys are able to land right on the outsides of Canyon Crossing. Going from launch pad to launch pad. Looks like the strategy here. Actually, Lachlan is going to take it. Actually, excuse me, Logan is going to take it. Try and get some intel. Does see some combat going on. Tries to take the side of the mountain. Does take a couple shots, though. Lachlan might suffer the same fate, as it looks like he does. Gonna try and cross all the way over into Canyon Crossing. Couldn't make it all the way up as he did. Takes a lot of damage. Logan at 19 health has to build up, has to heal himself. Anything to keep himself alive at this point. Lachlan also needs to buy not only himself but his teammate some time here as these guys are getting sprayed down with a minigun. They're going to back up. They're going to get in this building. They're going to go all the way back, as far back as they can go, as this circle starts to get revealed by some of the storm. They could potentially rotate up here, as we see there on the ping. We see a lot of action going on. So many shots on the visual audio indicator. Now it looks like here, Lachlan and Logan choose the low ground. It is a little bit closer to circle. Now these guys are almost completely wide open. Have to be aware, have about a single rock to cover them. Oh, they find someone. Team Guff needs to find this kill. This would be huge for their placement here and points for them. Caught swimming a little bit. Luckily able to close the gap. Can Lachlan find the kill? No, he doesn't. Logan takes a little bit of damage. He's pretty low at 77 HP. Doesn't have any shields. Decides to close the gap. But Lachlan is able to find one. But Logan gets crashed in on. And now it's all up to Lachlan. Lachlan finds a big shotgun shot there. Can't find the kill yet, though. Logan doesn't get thirsted. He's going to go for the revive here. Maybe a little bit of a bold decision, but Lachlan's confident that he can get it in time. But that storm is going to deal a lot of damage, 5 per tick, and Logan is going to fall to the storm. And now Lachlan has to try and best to get out here. He's going to take the zip line, but takes a lot of shots, and like that, Team Guff is going to fall to 10th place. But the chefs are still in it, so let's switch to them. Watching Zarek here, still in it. A big top 10 finish though from Guff. Especially they did not finish as well last drop, so that is a huge way to change, get those guys a little bit of momentum going into next week. And wow, the work that minigun does as it shreds through those builds. Tries to find Zarek an opening, can't find it yet, although he does find a couple big shots. 59 damage on a player a little bit farther away, and these guys have every advantage right now as they are backs to circle and everybody has to rotate to them. A huge 82 there from Zarek. Man, this guy doesn't miss. $55, $87. Another team comes in. Couple shots fired, no shots hit though. And a knock there from Zarek and Chef Jack. What a team play. And these guys only have to move about 3 build spots for them to be in circle here. $31, $62, $80, $93. Zarek does a lot of damage. Chef Jack doing a lot of damage on his own, though. These guys are going to try and find a push, though. Zarek takes a lot of damage from the fall. Tries to find a couple as he's sliding down the hill. Can't find it. Zarek is going to be able to heal up, though. Chef Jack takes a couple shots. Zarek takes a couple shots as well. But they are able to secure themselves as Chef Jack was able to find the elim. 7 players left, 5 not counting the chefs. Taking a bit of damage from Storm there. Luckily, able to get out pretty quickly. Zarek gets stuck on the tree. Luckily, though, is able to get out, is able to close the gap. Finds a big shot there for 33. Decides to buy himself a little bit of time. Tries to close the gap with his teammate. Chef Jack absolutely laser beaming someone. Can he find the kill? No, he doesn't. Zarek here trying to shield up. Gonna take a lot of damage from Storm and from the fall. Zarek has to heal. Chef Jack has to buy time, but he's just going. 52, 127. Chef Jack is dead. It is all up to Zarek. Absolute chaos going on. How much longer can Zarek stay alive? Not much as they fall and find a 4th place finish. Wow. What 2 drops though from Chef Jack and Zarek. What a drop from Lachlan and Logan. And what a drop from Parker and Matthew. Such solid Fortnite we got to see tonight. Obviously, huge shouts out to the chefs, Chef Jack and Zarek. Those guys played phenomenal. A 6th place and a 4th place finish. Those guys are hungry. They're looking for a banner. They're looking for a Div 1 banner, and those guys can do it. And lock in, find out their formula a little bit better, and I expect that those guys will be very successful in this Division 1 season for Fortnite. But with that being said, we are very late. It is very late, but we're going to try and get Coach Kyle up here just for a couple minutes, just to pick his brain, just to see how he did, just to see what he saw. I know he was excited, so maybe we can get him up here for a question or two. That would be great as he gritties his way up to the mic, up to the camera. Wow.
We back.
Wow. Welcome back, Coach Kyle, first of all. And second off, what amazing Fortnite.
What a great night. What a great night of drops. I'm just going to adjust this.
Oh, absolutely.
It's like chocolate rain. I'm going to move the mic closer to my face.
We saw a 6th and a 4th from
Yeah.
the chefs.
Massive.
Wow.
Massive.
Wow.
And worst part is, I'm ticked. Could have been better.
Absolutely. I would agree. I think that that's maybe a favorite in the future for maybe a Div 1 banner.
It's looking very good. We're only one drop into season.
Of course.
But across the board, I mean, I feel like I say this every time you and I are up here, same song,
Yep.
same dance, new season. But I feel like this is a good start.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of room for improvement that I'm seeing across pretty much every division. Stuff that I want to tighten, stuff that I know the kids are going to be like, I should have done that. And it all comes with time. It all comes with training, but like, it's a good start. I will say that I am cautiously optimistic.
Absolutely. And I want to talk about the GOATs a little bit. We
goats.
saw them, Parker and Matthew, we saw them have a really good drop 1, especially in a division that these guys, they were nervous to go into.
An impeccable drop one.
Absolutely.
An incredible drop one. Yes.
And get a little unlucky, I guess I should say, drop
Yeah.
number 2. Talk to me about what you're doing to make sure that those guys don't think that that's going to be a repeat for them.
So I'm just going to be completely honest with Matthew. I don't have to do a whole lot. I'm going to be honest.
That's
I
fair.
looked at him after the match. I'm like, do you ever get nervous? And he's like, nah. I'm just dying because that
Ice in the veins.
Yeah, that's totally Matthew though. Matthew is like, oh, cool, I'm outnumbered, and then he'll drop like a calm 50 bomb in a game. You're like, whatever, I don't really care. With Parker though, Parker is such not a perfectionist, but he cares so much about his performance because he doesn't want to let his teammates down.
Yes.
So for Parker, and there was one of the things that we had to talk about was that the 13th place in drop 1.
Yep.
I am as proud of that 13th place as I am of our 6th and our 4th.
Absolutely.
Because of how they played that, right? You watched as they were like, all right, cool. They made an engagement. The other people slipped underneath them, took the fight to them, did not go the way they wanted it to do. And they were like, okay, what do we do? And Parker's like, hey, build here. I'm going to drop the crash pad. We're going to rotate out. They rotated to that mountain. It was beautiful. It was like a wonderfully tactical exfil. It was awesome. As far as I'm concerned, it was textbook
And that,
D1 Fortnite.
I think is the biggest difference we're going to see as we continue to tune in and see how they're doing and watch them, that the GOATs, they are going to be a very tactically sound team.
Yes.
Parker,
Yes.
we know, Parker is someone that analyzes the game. He knows what he wants
100%.
to do.
And I guarantee you, Parker will not be sleeping tonight. Parker is going to be up and good. Going, I could have done that better. He's going to be like that. But the thing that I'm doing is I'm trying to stress to these guys, because the jump from D2 and D3 to D1 is cavernous.
Yes.
Like, let's be real for a second. It is cavernous. They're all great divisions. Like, I'll take a D3 Valhallan Fortnite competitor over a D1 anywhere else. You know what I mean? But it's still cavernous. And so for me, it's the job of explaining that it's not big things that make a big difference. It's doing little things every day that make a big difference. And that's a huge jump to understand as a competitor, as a player, as a person. Like, I know adults that struggle with that idea of like, I have to do something small every day because incremental change is really the only way we do anything great, right? And that's really the lesson that it's going to be tough for them to get, because they're like, yeah, I want to, crash out and get 15 kills. And like, who doesn't? But that's not how that works. That's not how any of this works.
And finally here, I want to talk Team Guff, we saw.
Yeah.
I didn't get to see how they finished drop 1, but we saw 10th place drop 2.
It was okay.
A very solid drop night. How are we feeling about that team so far?
It is a team that is still gelling, and I think we knew that from the start. I think one of the things that like you'll notice as you're perusing these things, maybe going back watching the VODs. Hi, folks at home, you should watch our VODs more often. Run those numbers up. Coach Christian does a good job. But in all honesty, like you'll watch these VODs, and this is true for Guff as it is for pretty much all of our teams, is that it's a gelling season right now, right? These are, for many cases, new pairs.
Yes.
This is, in some cases, the first time that these individuals are playing together
Absolutely.
on this caliber. And on top of that, much like Matthew and Parker, but like Lachlan and Logan have never played together. And Logan, if I'm not mistaken, was D2
I believe so,
last
yes,
season.
yes.
So now Logan is not only making the jump from D2 to D1, but he's doing it with a new teammate. So am I fine with it? Yeah, of course I am, right? Because at the end of the day, these are new partnerships. It's a new working relationship. These are new players working together.
Well, and realistically, a 10th place finish is nothing to bat an eye about. That is still a very
it's amazing.
fantastic
Yeah.
finish,
For our
especially
first
for
drop.
week 1. You know.
Yeah. But I think I speak for both Logan and Lachlan. They're probably not satisfied with it.
Oh,
Which,
I would.
Yeah.
I mean, I know Lachlan. I would
Yeah.
110% agree with that.
but yeah, I mean, it's one of those things where the longer the season goes on, I'm just going to be completely looking for things to tweak and change and shore up and reinforce, or, bad habits that we need to break and cut pretty quick. But I mean, as far as a first drop goes, this feels like a first drop, right? There were some moments of great brilliance,
Yep.
and there were some moments of like, yeah, we need to tighten that up. But at the end of the day,
You get better.
we're still doing all right.
And you get better every week.
Yeah,
It's
you
only
get
week
bet-
1.
It's only week 1. That's exactly it. It's only week
Yep.
1, and if we're only in week 1 and we're already putting up the majority of our teams in top 20
Yes.
in both drops, if not, or just in one drop, that's huge.
Yes.
For week 1, I'll take it.
Absolutely.
So-
Can't be more mad about
Yeah.
week 1.
No, can't be happier about it if I
Yeah.
tried. So,
Well, Coach Kyle, thank you so much for your time up here.
oh,
Congratulations
always,
on
sir,
your drop
thank you.
tonight.
well, we'll save the congratulations for the end of the season.
Yeah,
where
well,
hopefully,
yeah.
we're wrapping ourselves in another
when
banner.
when we get to switch platforms to Instagram Live and we get another banner.
and then we're great.
Yeah,
then we're
yeah.
great. But thank you, Coach.
Of course. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that is going to be it for us here at Valhalla and Camp Hill. Hope you guys enjoyed. Hope you guys are ready for streams to be back. I know I am. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. From myself, Coach Christian, and everybody here at Valhalla and Camp Hill, thank you guys so much, and good night, everybody.